if I was to use the path tool, all I would see is that. And I can't fill it, I can't do anything with it. I'd have to make a selection from it and do it that way, and it's just many more steps involved. So this way is a bit more efficient. And because it is a layer, the shape layer, I can apply different layer effects to it. It behaves just like a layer, except it's vector, which means I can scale this up and down, and it's resolution independent. It's not gonna be massive. The edges aren't gonna jag out, and everything is going to retain its quality, from being very small to very big. I can take this and I can copy and paste it into Adobe Illustrator, stretch it, do whatever I want to it. So these shape layers are extremely flexible, and it streamlines your workflow immensely. And in this business, time is money, so you want to be as efficient as possible to free you up for other stuff, for other work, or free time. It's your choice. So anyway, we're going to go back here. And you'll notice that I've kind of clicked off this whole thing, and you'll do this too. You're drawing something and you click off and you're like, darn it, well, I want to continue drawing this. If I go over here and nothing is selected and I just like click on again, and and drag around and stuff, and it's doing stuff. Well, actually, I'm going to back up here because here's a good example of just a path. This is a path. There's nothing going on here. I can't do anything to it. There's no fill to it. I don't want that path. Oop, deleted my guy. So actually, I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to select my shape layer, and I'm going to go back down over here. Now notice again, so I want to continue the shape. If I just click on here and keep drawing, oh, what's going on? What's happening here? I can't. Nothing's connected, and it added a new shape layer here. So I don't want that. I want to add on to my existing shape layer, and it reverted back to its white color. If I was to give another color here, well, darn it, it's not working for me. This is getting frustrating, and I can move this away. I want this shape to be one. I don't want to have two individual shape layers. I want to have just continue this shape layer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to trash this layer, because that's just an example. I don't want things to get confusing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on here, and I'm going to make sure this guy's selected here. I'm going to get my pen tool going. Now, when I hold the Option key, you'll notice that with the pen tool selected, when I hold the Option key down, my pen tool turns into this white arrow. This arrow is the direct selection tool. Now, if I go in here and I mouse over this guy and I click on the actual line itself, you'll notice that the points pop back up. And once this is selected, I can go back, and I can, with my pen tool, I can mouse over that point, and you see it, the pen changes. There's a little wee tiny X beside my pen tool. If I mouse over this, it turns into like a little 0. Looks like a 0 to me. It's actually an icon for that open anchor point. So it says, hey, do you want to click on there? Do you want to continue that? You click on her, bonus. So now it turns into a filled point. So now I can go over here to this point and click and drag out. And now you see I'm continuing this line. And now in here, in my shape layer, it's actually filling in. It's starting, and I'll zoom in here if I can. Hope it'll let me. But I've got all kinds of cool stuff selected, and it's kind of not working for me right now. So anyway, this shape layer here, it gives a visual representation of what the heck is going on that particular layer on the actual canvas, on your Photoshop canvas. So I'm going to go in through here, and oh darn it, I clicked off it again. So what am I going to do? I'm going to hold down the Option key and get my white arrow back, and I'm going to just click around here until you see those guys. There we are. And so I'm going to click on it, and there's my little continue anchor, continue path tool. So click on that guy, and then I'm going to click and drag down the opposite direction. And then I'm going to go over here, and notice how I'm using my keyboard commands. I'm using the space bar to scroll around. It turns it into a hand, and then I'm going to click, continue this over. I'm going to click here, and then hold my Shift key and drag up like so. So there you go. So there's the pen tool exercise, drawing undulating lines. And what I can do is now say, for example, say this was a job for a client, and my client wanted this shape. For some reason or another, they wanted this shape, but they didn't like red. Well, here's the cool thing about shape layers. As I said before, I can click of a button. What color do you want, client? And I like blue. Alright, there you go. There's blue. You're not investing a massive amount of time to make minute changes. Back in the day, this type of stuff in Photoshop to make these changes would have taken, well, I don't know, an extra 5 or 10 minutes. But if you're, say you have buttons, you did a whole bunch of buttons for a client, for your website, and the client doesn't like the particular color of the buttons. In the old days, you would be, investing a solid amount of time to change all the colors of these buttons. If you make up the buttons with your shape layers, you can modify colors on the fly. So basically, you're getting one shape layer, one button to do the work of many. It's just a much more efficient way of doing things. And that concludes the lesson. The pen tool exercise. And the next exercise we're going to do is going to be making a shiny button in Photoshop with the shape layers. And we're going to be using the pen tool, of course. And we're also going to be experimenting with this guy down here, which is a layer mask. Layer masks are extremely powerful. In fact, I've often said that if you want to be a really good Photoshop person, you learn the pen tool, you learn the layer masking, and you learn actually this guy up here, and I'm just going to show you because I love it so much. Adjustment layers. So I've got a hue saturation, and I'm just going to click on this. Just for an example, an adjustment layer allows me to also modify the saturation, the lightness, the intensity, and all that kind of junk. So, but we'll cover that later. I'm giving a precursor to things to come. Okay, hope you enjoyed it.